Economy. Replace free enterprise capitalism with government-controlled monopolies, aka public-private partnerships. How many times have we heard that? Let me explain. There's a very technical. Let me explain it really easy for you. Government-controlled mafia. The stakeholders are the mob leaders. The public-private partnerships are the people that have sold their soul out to be at the end of the table at the end of the day. Okay, so pull out your sheets that Dr. Bill passed out. Flip to the second one. I think it's got what is unsustainable. These are items we cannot keep. Now look back at the list, knowing that the title now says, these are items we cannot keep. It's amazing. The faces that just changed when I said, what is unsustainable, and look, everybody kind of gave me deer in the headlights. When I then said, look at the items that we cannot keep, especially these three people right here, their looks, this one and this one, how your body changes. Okay, what we can't keep. Okay, what can we not keep? Third one down, I think, from the bottom says industry. Industry. Let me tell you how they're going to not keep industry. Public-private partnerships. It's going to put the businesses like this and the little Ace Hardware that's owned by Joe Brown out of business. Because let me tell you how it works. Let me tell you how I spot them. Is it Home Depot or Lowe's? It will be Home Depot at the end of the day. How do I know? They push the homosexual agenda. They don't. Usually I have my flag pin on. I forgot where. They don't allow a person, an employee, to have a flag pin on. Look what they push. Is it FedEx or UPS? It's going to be FedEx, the public-private partnership. Look at their boxes. Unsustainable, green earth. Look at their commercials. Is it Verizon or AT&T? It's Verizon. They're also on the corporations that are CFR, which I have a list of the CFR corporations as well. Because look and listen to their commercials. Unsustainable, future, can't keep the earth that we have. Listen to the words. Who they are. So how are they going to get rid of the small businessman? Public-private partnerships, government-controlled monopolies. They're going to regulate, legislate, and zone us out of our business. And the big developers, the ones, why don't you go, Dr. Bill can get us a list of who supported T-SPLOST? Public-private partnerships. Poor Michael. He sat in the wrong place today. Public-private partnerships. Guys, look who pulled up and look who supported it.
UPS did $150,000.
Yeah, I know they did. And Doraville just accidentally had our sign sitting there. And I told you that when I said that. But at the end of the day, it will be FedEx. I can tell you that. They'll be out of business. With the gas tax that they're trying to put on all trucking and diesel, trust me, there will only be one of UPS or FedEx left. This is important. I cannot let you go out of here, and nobody dislikes Barack Obama more than me. Trust me. But you cannot go out of here thinking this is Barack's deal. This was done, and a lot of it done by Republicans. Republicans who we have hailed. Bush Sr., Bush Jr., Clinton. Guys, this isn't about, this is why it's so important. If the damn Tea Parties would talk about the debt, Sharia, and Agenda 21, there's no way you couldn't be a Tea Partier. But the Rhino Republicans have come in and co-opted them, and it's a nightmare. And we're labeled crazy, wacko, which the liberal labeled me a Tea Party. I don't belong to any Tea Party. I've never given a dime to a Tea Party. Because they're not addressing the issues. Neither is Tea Party Patriots, Tea Party Express, Tea Party Nation. None of them address debt, Sharia, and agenda. Bush Sr. signed the implementation of Agenda 21 in 1992 in Rio on Prince Philip's yacht. Britain is very severely involved in this, as well as Spain. Clinton comes in. Bush kind of came home with his tail between his legs and really didn't enact it, but Clinton came in with Harry Rubin, and they set up the President Council of Sustainable Development. And what they did is they said, we're going to go around Congress, and we're going to start putting regulation and legislation through. Now, by the way, little constitution here. Who makes law? Does that mean executive orders are unconstitutional?
Yes.
Do you know that the House can stop any executive order?
Yes.
And why are they not? Because we're not calling them up screaming and reminding them of their power, which most of them don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you got to keep screaming. I got to use the phone before I pick up the guns. We got to use the phone before we pick up the guns. I mean, seriously, if you're willing to pick up a gun, why are you not willing to pick up a phone? You put senator in my phone, you're going to get 20 senators. You put representative, you put Congress, I mean, you got it. It's in my phone. And I'm willing to pick up my phone as many times as I can before I have to pick up my guns. And trust me, I would like to pick up my guns. So, President Council of Sustainable Development is when the EPA, the FDA, the USDA, all these just started getting monster big in all these regulations. And we're now putting the pieces together of Agenda 21. Now I'm going to tell you the amazing story of Dr. Kaufman. 2 years later, in 1994, the Senate was actually going to ratify this treaty, Agenda 21, that Bush Sr. signed. Can everybody see the maps over here? Can you see the green in the top map? Yeah. Okay. Dr. Kaufman put that map together. And he got on the Senate floor at 3 o'clock. They were to ratify this at 4. And he held it up. And he said, "Can you see the green?" And he went, "Because that's where this bill is only going to allow us to live." The green. He shut down the Senate for 3 days. They walked out, freaked, and shut down the Senate and the switchboards. He faxed 4,000 faxes. There was no email. He faxed 4,000 faxes. Guys, here's what happened. In fact, I'm going to read you the first paragraph out of his book. I have his new book in the back, Plunder. This man truly, truly saved our country. One man. Do not ever let you anybody tell you that one person can't make a difference. If you own private property, you owe this man a thank you note. Seriously. If you own a gun, you owe Sheriff Mack a thank you note, who single-handedly stepped against the government and sued the government, and this is terrifying. Only 6 sheriffs joined him. 6 sheriffs in our country joined him. The Brady bill with Clinton and Newt was, yes, thank you, would take away all our guns. It was for the sheriffs to round up our guns under the Brady bill that Clinton did. That Obama and Hillary have told Sarah Brady that we're going to round guns with the gun treaty and the UN treaty. That, by the way, Hillary has no authority to sign the Small Arms UN treaty, which she did. And everybody's like, well, Hillary signed it, and nobody says to me, and she doesn't have the authority because she can't. Who can sign treaties? Senate. President. Senate ratifies. Only the president can sign treaties, and Hillary Clinton is not a president last time I checked. Yeah. But trust me, they're going to try to win in 2016. If you don't know how evil she is, she will make Barack look like a day in the park. She is Saul Alinsky's protege. Dr. Kaufman, Rescue a Broken America. Easy read. I suggest you order it. I'm going to read, and you can come up and just read a couple pages if you want. This will just freak you out. I was leading a multi-million-dollar research effort on the effects of acid rain and global warming on our nation's ecosystem in the late 1980s and 1990s, when I began to realize that science was being ignored or politicized for a purpose. Congress spent approximately $1 billion. Not only do they spend our money, they're paying people to research the legislation, and then they don't look at it. They spent $1 billion on the Clean Air and Clean Water Act. Do you remember that? And acid rain that was BS? They gave Dr. Kaufman's firm, it doesn't say this in here, but they gave him $30 million, his firm, $30 million. Congress spent approximately $1 billion on research defining various aspects of acid rain and global warming. That before passing the draconian reauthorization of the Clean Air Act, I was shocked that the severe restrictions were not justified by the science. Worse, a lot of the science was taken totally out of context in order to justify the new draconian regulations. They gave him $30 million. He went and researched it and delivered them a huge report for the Clean Air Act and said, if you do this, he's an ecologist. He has facts and data. You're going to have unintended consequences. Surprise, on our environment in our country. You cannot do this. And they passed the Clean Air Act. He went screaming down there and said, you just paid me $30 million. You've done $1 billion of research and you didn't even read it. And they passed the Clean Water Act. He lost it. Clean Water Act. He shut down his firm. It occurred to me then that I could be the best scientist in the world and it would make no difference in policy. Science was either ignored or twisted to mean something that the science itself never supported. I began to follow the money trail to try to determine what was driving this madness. It did not take long to realize there was a huge agenda behind this policy decision. It became crystal clear that part of the agenda was to shift the power away from the people and move it to the government. The man closed down a $30 million research firm, went home, worked out of his spare bedroom, the kids were in college, and started contacting agencies and went through the UN and got enough data that he plotted this map because he was an ecologist and he knew how to do that. And if you look at it, it will be sourced on the bottom. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pass these out. These come from Dr. Kaufman. Make sure I get them back. I cannot just make another copy. On the back, you can read all the organizations they call NGOs, non-government organizations. They do the dirty work. They're the mafia. Do you know the guy that collects, to the business? He's not the leader, but he's the henchman. That's what the NGOs are. They're the henchmen for the government, collecting and regulating and legislation and doing the government's dirty work. Ducks Unlimited. Can't tell you how many tickets I sold on St. Simon's for that. Sierra Club, National Wildlife Fishing, U.S. Fish and Wildlife. It's all here. Look at these maps. Pass them around and look at those maps.